You're not here to be sexy so guys can go up at you. You're not here to get married off. Maybe that's what you want, but I do believe you've got so much more to give than just that. Like I believe that you've got these amazing thoughts and that you're a really caring person and that you could probably create something that could really help someone. And I just think, God, women are so creative and so intelligent and so thoughtful, and they've got so much to give. Hello beautiful people, I'm Alessia. Today I'm going to be giving you ways to stop obsessing over men fancying you. I'm going to be giving you some quick techniques because I really want to help you focus on more important things. Obviously, there's no shame in enjoying a man thinking you're attractive. There's no shame in that at all. I just think a lot of women have actually learnt to completely hyperfixate on being beautiful for men and fixate on getting validation from men. Not the women's fault at all. It's a consequence of the world that they've been brought up in. So yeah, this is no shame to the women at all. I just want to help women kind of refocus on things that are going to deeply fulfill them and make them feel really good in this world. I do think a lot of really talented women are completely drained of their energy because the first thing they think of each day is, do I look beautiful enough? Shall I pose this way in the office, as opposed to kind of slouching because that man's looking at me. Maybe you're younger, maybe you're at university or at college, and maybe you struggle to focus in lectures because there are boys all around and you want them to be attracted to you, and you kind of get a high off that moment when they look at you and they think, oh, she's fit. But then that distracts you and it means you don't learn as much as you could, and it means that you don't get to progress and get that grade you want, and maybe that job, it spirals massively. The reason why I'm filming this video is because I spoke to someone in the comment section in one of my other videos, and they were talking about how they are struggling to focus at school because they feel watched by all the boys and they feel like they have to perform kind of this femininity and this beauty, and that they need to constantly just be posing. I know a lot of us women feel successful if men fancy us. That's completely understandable. We live in a patriarchal world, i.e. we live in a world that's designed for men. So to fit into that, we feel like we have to provide a service for the men, i.e. be these beautiful objects, a bit like a blooming vase in a house. But we aren't objects. We are humans with feelings and desires and talents. And I want us to be able to tap into those talents and desires and to not focus on just maintaining this look the whole time, because we've got something inside to give to the world and we've got feelings that we want to express. We can't just be these beautiful posed figures our entire life. We've got emotions. We're not always going to be smiling and looking beautiful. We're going to be upset, and I actually think the beauty is just being yourself and experiencing life and sharing your stories. But obviously in this shallow world, beauty is this one very annoying fixed thing that actually means that women just have no leeway to do anything bar look pretty and obsess over men fancying them. I want you to feel successful because you adore yourself and you adore your life and you adore your job. I don't want you to feel successful because men adore you. So in this video, I'm going to help you to basically rearrange a few things in your head in order to basically stop focusing on what men want you to do and start focusing on what you want to do. I'm sure you want to feel good for being you, your authentic self, not for looking a certain way. I think validation of any kind of form, whether it's male validation or just people complimenting you, can be very kind of addictive, and it can give you that big high, but it does kind of come crashing down, and it's not something you want to rely on because it's not going to last you. It's not going to be fulfilling. It's just going to give you that kind of rush of adrenaline. It's going to be very fleeting. I want you to be able to rely on self-validation, and I just want you to feel good in the long term. And I think that's what I'm always encouraging on this channel. I like to encourage people to focus on things that are going to make them feel good for the long term, not things that will make them feel good in the moment and then actually might be quite detrimental to their self-esteem in the long run. So ways to stop obsessing over men fancying you. Let's get into it. This jacket is making lots of noises. Okay, so my first thing that I kind of want to talk about is thoughts. Our thoughts not every thought, but a lot of our kind of repetitive thoughts tend to influence our behavior. We start to listen to the thoughts that are recurrent, the thoughts that crop up every day. So if every day you're thinking, you need to be beautiful, those men might be looking at you, you are single because you don't look good enough, you need to lose weight. If you're having these kinds of thoughts every day, your actions are gonna echo those thoughts. So that's why I want you to kind of interrupt those thoughts and stop them in their tracks when they come up. Those thoughts where you're like, maybe I should pose for a second and pout my lips because there's a guy there, instead of listening to my friend chat to me. The amount of times that I've done that in the past and I've seen my friends do it, you completely lose track of what's been said in the conversation that you're actually in. You're too busy looking at the man. Instead of just allowing that thought to come up and listening to it, oh, I need to pout right now because there's a guy over there. I want you to think, I can challenge this thought. I'm with a friend that really cares for me right now. We're in a beautiful place, having a lovely time. I need to refocus back on her. Maybe you're in a lecture and there's an attractive guy that you're trying to look good for, and you've got all excitable and you've lost track of what the lecturer is saying. Focus on maybe your laptop. Just focus on the colors and the text, the size, and it might be a bit boring to focus on these things, but I just want you to focus on the little, quite mundane details whilst you take deep breaths, and this will calm you down. This is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get you to calm down, because I do think our kind of adrenaline skyrockets when we are thinking that we're about to gain some kind of validation. It's really sad because there's just so many really intelligent women out there who have got so much to share with the world. But I do think if the first thing we're thinking of is looking good, this is going to really take us away from what we're actually meant to be here for. We need more women in the higher up positions. We need more women having a bit more influence on this very corrupt world. And I think if all the women are busy trying to look good for men, then, well, it's a great patriarchal plan, isn't it? To stop the women from shining brightly. Again, look good and enjoy, men fancying you. I completely get that. But I just find it so upsetting when it completely takes over your life and your everyday, and you can't even focus on a topic that you're interested in. I had that all the time in college. I was very obsessed with trying to look attractive and trying to hold my body in as best and tightly as I could. And this took away from my learning experience. Okay, the next thing that you can do to help you stop obsessing over male attention, male validation, is to kind of figure out who you are beyond being attractive to men. I want you to create a list of 3 qualities that celebrate your inner self, not your outer self. Create that list now. You don't need to write it down. You can literally just say it aloud or think it in your head now. If you're someone that kind of struggles to compliment yourself and list your positive qualities, I really think this is something you should work on, because this is something I do every day. Because I still get insecure moments, but when I catch myself in those insecure moments, or when I feel like I need to look good for men and I reduce myself down just to my appearance, I remind myself of all these qualities and I go, yeah, I'm this really complicated, amazing human that's got so much going for me. I don't need to lean on looking beautiful and men obsessing over me, because I like myself and I know my friends like me and I've got all these qualities. I just think it's so important to know your worth and to know little things like, I'm really funny, or I'm really good at listening to people, or I'm really good at reading people and then adjusting myself so they feel extra comfortable, and that's why I make so many friends so easily. Or just knowing what you're good at is so important, and I'm sorry if you struggle with that. It's certainly not something that comes naturally or has come naturally to me. It does a lot more now, but it's just a muscle you need to work. That kind of positivity muscle, that kind of complimentary muscle. The more you compliment other people and other things and yourself, the more kind of compliments are just going to burst out of you. The more you focus on positive, beautiful things, the more you will feel positive and beautiful about yourself. I do really believe that you kind of attract what you put out. Obviously, we're going to have negative thoughts, but it's just how you choose to approach them. Challenge them and think, oh, yeah, that negative thought's not true. The sun's shining and I've got this lovely cup of coffee. It's not a bad day at all. I can do this. I think it's hard. A lot of us struggle to celebrate our inner selves because we live in a very shallow world that focuses very much on external things like what we look like and the material possessions we have and the relationships that we have, like, oh, such an attractive couple. No. I want to know, do you have really good chemistry? Do you make each other happy? I just think not everyone, but so many people have been brainwashed to be obsessed with the wrong things, i.e. how everything looks as opposed to how everything actually is. And it makes me sad. Anyway, I want you to list these 3 qualities. Even if you find it really hard, come back to it later. And I just want you to remind yourself, it's all about disrupting those thoughts. It's all about challenging dialogue that's going on in your head every day. That's what I'm noticing with just my personal growth journey. You really, really just have to challenge everything you've learnt. And if you've learnt to think about men and think about looking good for men, you just need to challenge yourself when that crops up. It's not going to be a quick fix. The more I think about this stuff and the more that I read about this stuff and the more I talk about this stuff, the more I realize that beauty is it's all about what's going on inside and what energy you're putting out. It's not about what you look like. Of course, like, there are attractive people, but that only lasts for a couple of, minutes. And if they open their mouth and they're not very nice, I very quickly get, turned off, uncomfortable, don't want to be around them. And I know there's a lot of people like me that you being beautiful just isn't enough. The most important thing is what you have to say and how you conduct yourself and how you treat people. You are going to attract the wrong people if all you're thinking about is how you look. If you're putting all your energy into your appearance and how you look, and that is everything, then that will take over and that will become you, and you'll be this person that's all about outer appearance. And I think like-minded energies do tend to attract each other, and you might then attract someone who is also all about appearance and not really interested in actually getting to know you on a deep level. And I don't think you're going to be able to forge a deep connection with that kind of person. So if you're someone who maybe is wanting to get into a relationship, I think focusing on your appearance is completely the wrong thing to do. The best thing you can do is just let your personality shine through when you meet someone who catches your interest. The kind of people I want to attract into my life are interesting, caring, thoughtful people who are going to ask me questions, basically people who are going to want to get to know the real me, not what I look like I might be. What you put your emphasis on will kind of shape your reality, your world, your self-perception. If you put so much emphasis on appearance, that will start to really shift everything around you. It will reflect that reality back onto you. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about might be slightly strange, but I was watching a video and it made me think, you know what, this is something that I'm going to keep thinking about. So if it's going to help me, then it's going to help someone else out there. So think more, sorry, my laptop went off. Think more like a baby. This is something that I'm going to keep reminding myself of when my thoughts tell me to look good for men and tell me to obsess over being beautiful or adjusting how I look. I'm just going to think like a baby. When I was a baby, I didn't care what I looked like. I didn't think I was really beautiful, but I also didn't think I was ugly. That didn't matter. I was very present. I was very focused on what I needed: food, water, sleep, attention. I think when we're a baby, we know what we want and we don't overthink things. We are just so pure and we're just love. Babies are just pure love. They don't judge themselves or others. The societal ideals that we kind of take on as we grow up in this world give us all these kind of like layers that are just so unnecessary. And I think as I grow up, I'm not learning new things and adding more layers. I'm actually just unlearning things that I learned as I grew up in this quite weird world where we're obsessed with like money and appearance and all the wrong things. Yeah, I just think as I become more healed, I'm actually just delayering and becoming more like a baby, if you know what I mean. But also, I've got all this life experience and these thoughts too, which is nice, but I'm also like the baby version of myself. I think our ego makes us believe that we need validation from others as opposed to from just ourselves. And when we're babies, we have zero ego. Ego gets in the way because it means that we are doing things from a very inauthentic place. We're doing things from a like me, love me place, a freaking out place, as opposed to this is just me, take it or leave it. And I think that's what babies are like. They're just like, this is me, take it or leave it. So yeah, if that's useful, let me know. It's a bit random, but just be more like a baby. When you get those thoughts where you think, oh, I need to look beautiful, I need to get the attention of that man right now, just tell yourself, I need to think like a baby, because I was really happy then. People say that all the time. Oh, I wish, I could be younger again, because do you remember how carefree you were? Next time you're around a baby, obviously don't be creepy, but just take a look at how present they are. The next thing that I want to talk about is purpose. I think that when you have a lack of purpose, you might latch on to validation from others to make you feel something about yourself. Because if you don't feel like you've got a purpose, well, you kind of need that. So your purpose is for others to admire you, to be something for other people, to provide a service for men, to be attractive for men. I think if you have a passion, a purpose, then it's a lot easier to see yourself outside of this kind of like male lens. Because when you acknowledge that you've got a purpose, you acknowledge that you are here for a reason beyond looking good for men. And this is a really important realization I want all women to have. You're not here to be sexy so guys can go up at you. You're not here to get married off. Maybe that's what you want, but I do believe you've got so much more to give than just that. Like I believe that you've got these amazing thoughts and that you're a really caring person, and that you could probably create something that could really help someone. And I just think, God, women are so creative and so intelligent and so thoughtful, and they've got so much to give. We're just completely drained of all that talent and energy because we're fixating on something that is so draining, which is looking perfect, which we can't do. So we're just going to constantly be on that bike cycling to try and get to that destination of perfection, and we're never getting there. If you're watching this video and you're a bit like, I don't really have any passions or any hobbies, I kind of work, don't really enjoy my job, then I go out with my friends, and that's when I kind of let loose, and that's when I get to have fun, and that's actually massively tied up with men fancying me. That's where I get my fun from. Hookups and looking pretty for men. Not at all shaming you for that, because I love a good night out and I love making an effort with my appearance, but if that is your entire life, I completely get why you're going to quickly spiral and start to get really upset if men aren't fancying you, if you're not getting that validation. Or if you are getting that validation but you're still feeling empty and you're still struggling a lot, I completely get why you're watching this video and why you want to turn things around. So in relation to this whole purpose thing, basically I want you to believe that you're talented, and I want you to believe that you've got all these amazing gifts that you can give the world. You are really talented and really interesting. I want you to believe that, and I want you to remind yourself of that. And if there's anything physical that you can look at to remind yourself of that when you're experiencing these moments of shallowness where you just think, I just need to look this certain way and I need to get that attention from that man. I think if you have something you can look at, like a uni essay that you're really proud of, or a piece of artwork that you created that you're so proud of, or a video that you've created where you're speaking about something you're passionate about that you can watch back, you should 100% jump to consuming that, just looking at how talented you are. When I watch my YouTube videos back, it helps me think you're so much more than what you look like. I find it so sad when women don't have that realization that they are so much more than what they see in the mirror. It's really, really sad, and it annoys me because it's just not the woman's fault, and it annoys me that I have to make a video and get women to adjust things, as opposed to just be like, we need to change everything so women value themselves and that they get to work on being leaders and talking about the things that they want to change in the world. We need to give women this power. Even in education, I just think we need to encourage women to lean on their brain skills, which you have. You might not believe that you do have like these amazing thoughts and that you can have this amazing career and that you can do these amazing things. That is just, again, patriarchy, and that is you doubting yourself as a woman, which is completely understandable in a world that just automatically doubts you because you are a woman. I just want you to know that I used to feel unintelligent, and I've done a video about this, which I'll link at the end of this video. I just think there's so much to say on this topic, but the main thing that I want to say is men fancying you is not worth it. It's gonna take away your time and your energy and your money and your chance to forge really deep connections with friends. I have had really amazing friendships in the last few years, and continue to have them because I now focus on my YouTube channel and I'm doing life coaching now. I'm doing all these things that I'm really proud of and that I'm so passionate about. And now I've got these amazing friends as well. And that is definitely a result of me focusing on my brain power. But in the past, when I focused on looking good, I had these friends that reflected that kind of weird space that I was in which I just thought I was just something to be looked at. Like, these friends didn't want to look at me any deeper than I looked at myself. They just wanted me to look good and they just objectified me. Obviously they were men. I had women at the time, but again, I just didn't know myself and I didn't give myself a chance to get to know myself because I just thought you need to focus on partying and looking good and kind of losing weight. Anyway, I hope this video was somewhat useful. It was really nice just talking to you, and again, I just want to say thank you, like I do in all my videos, for all your support. You're all just so lovely and I love chatting openly about this stuff with you. I've experienced a lot of the stuff that I'm sure you've experienced and we can relate. I just want to be friends and I just want to talk about these things, and I've learned stuff and healed stuff, but also I'm continuing to heal. I'm forever learning. I'm never going to get off that learning train. Growth is just like a never-ending process and I'm happy with that. I think that's cool. That's why I have this YouTube channel, because I know I can make so many videos out of it because I'm constantly learning and I always will be. But anyway, if you want to do life coaching, I'm now a life coach. I have a document that I can send you if you're interested and if you want to get to know more about what goes on with life coaching with me and what I specialize in. If you're someone who's interested in leveling up and enjoying your life even more and enjoying yourself more, then please email me. My email is in that post that I talked about. It's alessia.sotheberry@hotmail.co.uk. Please subscribe, like, share and comment. Really hope you enjoyed this video. Please share it with any women that you think need to hear this. I just want more women to think about these things, and I want to encourage women to have conversations with their friends and their mothers and stuff about this topic of conversation.